Hey, how we going? Mickey here from Not Cartel. This video is a follow-up to the Mead recipe. The one that was the first video I done for the Mead was what I used in basic construction of a basic Mead. As you see there, I'm getting ready to package. So I've had these bottles sitting in the side shed for a while. These particular bottles are Hennessy bottles. One other type there. I think now I had the one Tennessee bottle and three of the others. The cork's no longer fitted in these bottles. They had shrunk. I picked up 6 of these grey ones. As a matter of fact, came off a work site I worked on about 2 years ago. It's just those sort of things that you pick up along the way. You think they'll come in handy at one stage. They certainly have. They don't fit in all bottles. They don't fit in the other ones I got there, but they fit the 4 that I need. And like I say, I got 6 of these, so that's a bonus. So rather than doing what I said I was going to do, I was going to keep it in the 5 litre carboy. I was going to mature it, sit it in a dark place for up until winter, and was going to consume it straight, or basically flat, uncarbonated. I decided that rather than do 5 litre batches and sort of experiment in 5 litre batches, I would break them down into a series of 700ml bottles. So we've got the 4 of those clear ones, and we've got 2 of these hand selected botanical Bombay gin bottles. So these have the ingredients, basically what they use to infuse them, stamped down the side. Any of those that have had this Bombay gin would know sort of what's gone into it. So there's anything from juniper berries to lemon peel, coriander, angelica root, orris root, grains of paradise, cubeb berries, cassia bark, and licorice. So those sorts of ingredients was selected from around the world. You got it from China, Spain, Java, West Africa, Spain, Morocco, Italy. Yeah, so we may, down the track when we're doing some more meads, we might select some of these certain ingredients and play around with those as well. So as I say, I'll have 5 bottles, probably up to 6 if depending, because I have taken some out of that. I tasted about 200 mils of the mead last night. It's quite strong. It's quite alcoholic. You can taste the honey. You can taste a little bit of the original cinnamon, allspice, and what else did we put in it? I think it was just the cinnamon and allspice and the white flesh nectarines. So we used white flesh nectarines instead of orange and a nutrient tea. So it did call to use raisins. Didn't have any of those on hand, so we went with some stone fruit and something a little bit more tropical. Hasn't played out massively within the mead, but there is a little bit of that flavour from the original basic mead recipe that we used. So anywhere between 5 to 6 700ml bottles we're going to get from what's left. It's almost fermented out. Let it sit a little bit longer. We're going to cold condition it, cold crash it. So the processes that we're going to use for the mead are quite familiar with, quite similar I should say to beer brewing. One of those single infusions we're going to use is Tennessee oak staves, barrel staves. Got this soaking in bluegrass bourbon whiskey. It's an Aldi brand whiskey. Quite a decent price, not a bad drop for what you pay, but anyway, this is what we had left from many years of spirit consumption. I don't have a lot of spirits these days. It's found my stomach doesn't handle spirits the way it used to, and I try to steer clear of any sorts of spirits. A wife, she's not much of a drinker at all anymore. We'll have a little bit here and there, but no, she's what they call a two-pot screamer, and doesn't take much to put her over the edge. So that'll be the first one. So those staves I actually have to split down the middle to fit it into the bottle, or into the neck of the bottle. It certainly has soaked up a fair bit of what was in there, and obviously a lot of that colours came out of the actual staves as well. That's very dark considering, or compared to what it was. So like I say, there's not enough in there, so I'm just laying it down to keep it infused. So that was one of them. The other one I'm going to go with fresh bottle of vodka and do star anise. So that's going to give me an aniseed sort of flavour. Hopefully that works out. So I'll only go lightly with that one. Maybe cut 2 star anise in half so I can get them into the bottle of vodka. Let it sort of soak, or maybe just a small amount of vodka, and sit it in so it's sanitised, and might actually throw the star anise and the vodka in there as well. You're not going to taste too much of that added vodka. Like I say, that's quite fusel. It's got that vodka-y taste about it, but it's still got that honey and all that going on. So that'll be that one. The third one, I'm thinking of just going some cinnamon sticks into, actually vanilla pods, sorry. Vice versa, either one. Yeah, so we'll have one with vanilla and I'll have one with a cinnamon stick. So that'll make up so we'll have the bourbon oak staves. We will have star anise. We will then have cinnamon, vanilla, and the fifth one, we're going to get up to 5 or 6. If we get 6 out of it, then what we're going to do is we're going to have a control one. If we only get the 5, then we're going to drop one of those out, and basically I'm probably just going to pull the suggestion out of a hat. So then what's left is, obviously, if there's 5 and 6, one will be a control, and then we will go with something else. I'm seriously thinking about using fresh hops straight off my binds. So out there we've got Chinook, Pride of Ringwood, Bugs Cascade, the Super Alpha or Dr. Rudy, Helltail Middle Fruit, a wild hop, and we've also got Hirschbrucker. So out of those varieties, I've got a fair bit to choose from. I'm leaning more towards the Helltail Middle Fruit and the Hirschbrucker, those two being slightly fruity, a little bit spicy and a little bit earthy. So I think that'll probably try and, it'll probably help bring the flavours of the heavy alcohol of that mead down a little bit. And as I say, the same for the rest of those: vanilla, the cinnamon, the bourbon oak staves. I don't think that's going to change it much. It's probably going to get a little bit more, a bit of a smoky flavour, possibly a bit woody, burnt sort of flavour to it. That probably won't be too bad. Trying to add in things that I think are going to make it, I guess, not so much improve the flavour, but complement the flavour within the honey. So it's, things that you generally cook with honey, things you make with honey, basically, all those sorts of things that you find in certain recipes, it's going to work well with honey. I'm probably going to try it. So we've just acquired some more honey from my wife's boss. getting ready to plan the next one, and then I'll start researching some more I guess infusion type ingredients that I could use to improve that. Not improve, but complement the meads. So I'll add on to this video as we progress through the different stages. Just thought I'd chat about what the intentions are of the mead as we're moving along, and give you a general idea of how I'm going to play around with it. So obviously, rather than ruin one whole batch and for an infusion not to work, I'd rather break it down into even smaller batches. Like I say, the next lot of honey's ready, waiting to go, so we're got the ball rolling. Hopefully we're going to improve on things as we go. So the next recipe, I will switch it up. I will go back to using raisins and orange peel, and try and stick to traditional base mead technique, and then just to see whether it's going to make much of a difference. I'll also change the temperature that I'm brewing at. The last lot of ciders in this mead have gone at ambient, not total ambient, because I've actually got them sitting in a bucket of cool water, and it's probably around about the 25-26 degree mark, so it's not excessively high, but it's not as low as I'd like to try it at, to see whether we can, I don't know, maybe change some of them flavours out a little bit. The ciders are tasting pretty good actually. Most ciders and meads, they all do need time, and I think it's a good idea. The first one I made with the passion fruit puree, that's all gone now. I was going to keep a couple of bottles there to try later on down the track. It went quite quickly. It was still green when we drank it, so that's an indication that it tastes pretty good. Didn't really need time. The others I'll leave sitting there. The number 3 one, where we use the multivitamin fruit juice, which is carrot and all that kind of stuff in it, along with a bottle of the apple juice. I wouldn't call it a failure, and I wouldn't call it enjoyable sort of cider either. It's just, there's something about it that doesn't sit right. So that's probably one of the ones that's going to sit for a lot longer than any of the others, because I think that time may do it a lot of good. Other than that, doesn't work. It gets tipped out, and I've only wasted $5. So small batch, cheap ass ciders. So far so good. Out of the 6, I haven't finished the series of 6 yet, but so far 1 out of 3 I've put down. I've got number 4 going now. I've got 2 more to go after that, so hopefully fingers crossed 5 out of 6 might happen. Cheers.